yesterday at least in the matchup against them that they most certainly can. Mini Maggots, we got grand final action here.
Yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to it. And to be fair, I really think Reason can give a good game, if not beat Sync, if they're not careful. I think it's going to depend a lot on draft, because I think that's probably the biggest thing that Sync have over a lot of their opponents. They always seem to come out ahead or with a slight advantage in terms of the drafting phase. And of course, man, first pick Dr. Repulsor, again, hero of the talk of the town. Obviously, Reason decided to ban out Tremble and Parasite. I think Tremble is definitely a warranted ban. But I'm not 100% sure about Parasite. I think Parasite can be dealt with a little bit better than the Dr. Repulsor in terms of when Sync gets to play it. Obviously, they pick up War Beast as well, another hero that KG does play a lot and very, very often. And it's, again, quite hard to counter, but it seems like Reason have something up their sleeve. I've seen him for a rally and Dampier. I mean, it's something that Reason used to play a lot back in the day, and it'd be good to sort of see them pick up here as well.
This is interesting. Very interesting start. Again, we didn't now Nymphora, not the surprising thing, but a little bit of the rally we've heard. They have been playing it, so I guess that. But the Dampier is no doubt the one that really kind of stands out here. And as you pointed out, clearly kind of a decision that they had going into this series. It's not something off the cusp. It's just like, hey, why not Dampier? It's a hero that you have plans for, and most certainly can be a very scary and a snowballish hero. But again, I would like to see, is that going to be a Dampier that won't have to worry about having a jungler on his team? Because we stressed that, how that's just so important, it seems like, to allow him to snowball effectively and become the very scary snowball carry he can be. One other thing to note, too, as it is going to be banned there, Chipper and then Ophelia banned. Slapped made that comment last weekend as well that he loves to play Ophelia, and there's a reason why it's banned against them nearly every game, it feels like. Wasn't initially banned this time around, so I was actually intrigued to see if they would have gotten it, but yeah, as you pointed out, it's not necessarily needed.
I think, honestly, if I was in boy here, I would definitely ban out the Tremble, because that hero, I still don't think enough competitors or has enough sort of time to sort of play around it and sort of see how to deal with it. Every single time I've seen Tremble played, I don't see it really get shut down at all. And if the Tremble does lose, normally it's not because of the Tremble. So I think Tremble is definitely a warranted ban. Like I said before, but I don't think Parasite's really needed either. Perhaps maybe the Dr. Repulsor or War Beast, because those two heroes Sync play so often, and they play it to such a great degree that they almost break the meta with it. Like they create new things that's never been done before. And I think it's something that Reason do need to shut down, or at least have a ways to deal with it. And with the draft they've got here with Nymphora, Rally, Dampier, it doesn't scream that these heroes shut down Dr. Repulsor and War Beast.
Yeah.
And that to me, that's my first worry here for Reason Gaming. Obviously, they've still got 2 more picks to follow up as well, but just with the draft so far, it's going to be obviously a hard game for Reason from the start.
Absolutely, definitely see what you're saying here. So we'll see what options come about from our from Reason Gaming over here. You look at things on the board. As you pointed out, something like a Blood Hunter could be considered a scenario against it, but at the same time, they already have the Dampier.
Exactly, they won't pick up Blood Hunter.
Followed up with Moira is considered decent against Dr. Repulsor, and we have been seeing bits and pieces of her, so there are options out there.
I think Dr. Repulsor is too strong of a hero not to have ways of shutting him down in terms of a counter pick. Just simply is and he has a lot of counters as well. We rarely do ever see them picks up, which to me is a little bit surprising. But alas, it's going to be a 4th pick up from Sync. They probably will most likely need their middle lane, although they do run Dr. Repulsor mid as well. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a Suicide War Beast, obviously, but we have seen it played in the jungle as well. And that's kind of the beauty of the draft as well, because there's a lot of normal ways where these heroes normally are played, but there's also versatility in what these heroes bring to the table, that they can pick up where they want to pick them up. Dragon Master picked up, though, again, that can be played Suicide or mid. So it's going to depend on the 5th pick to find out where the lanes are going to be.
Yeah. Drunken Master coming out for Sync Esports. Again, a hero that the stats reflect that. Not really the highest win percentage. 40 games, only a 30% win percentage. So, but Sync, it's safe to say, they're a team that any makeup that they put together, they're pretty confident that they could raise that win percentage up. But it is interesting noting that stat right there. So it works out for them here. A lot of physical presence, most certainly. Reason Gaming now, they're going to think about it. Now, there was a lot of time used on that Drunken Master pick with that said. They're down to 4 seconds of extra time is Sync Esports. So Insania going to have to make a quicker decision here, obviously thinking about it now and maybe change it a little bit depending on what they pick up here. But possibly not. So Reason's going to use their time now.
Solstice is still on the board, and I know you sort of talked about how you don't really like to see Dampier picks up with a jungler, but I mean, it's something they've done before and something they've actually won with. The one game they did actually beat Sync with was when they had this Dampier Nymphora plus Solstice lineup. Obviously, the draft from Sync was a little bit different in that game. They ran a dual support lineup that was a lot of roaming potential, or a lot of roaming sort of style of play they picked up, and Solstice was used to quite a great effectiveness in that game. In this game here, it's going to be actually a Monarch instead, actually. So we talked a little bit about it, but I don't know if there's one game to pick up a Monarch. I don't know if this is the game to be doing it, but we'll have to wait and see.
Nier mentioned the Martyr as well. He mentioned, but yeah, he's a really big fan of the Monarch change too in that interview we just had with him. So possibly a little bit of insight as far as what we eventually see now here. And this is the first game here on Honcast we're actually going to see a Monarch from the beginning too. So that's also pretty intriguing to me. That I know, a game that we hopped into, you're very curious to know how he built and everything. So we're gonna get an idea here. Electrician coming out, and I wonder if that's a setup for as like a just in case, or is that I'm trying to think, is that a counter to a Monarch in a sense, or for some reason? I don't think so. Balfacor, final pick. Wow, that comes out of left field right there. This is not, I mean, is this a heavy push lineup? I guess I think that could be.
Not really. I mean, obviously they've got like the Nymphora for any kind of healing, but I don't know, man. This just seems a little bit strange to me. I think it's because they picked it up because they wanted some kind of somewhat tanky frontliner as to not get picked off by any sort of Doctor Repulsor sort of ganks, for example. But yeah, I mean, the last pick I was not thinking Balfagor, that's for sure.
Wow. Yeah, Balfagor, I mean, it's push. There's no other option with this hero. That's why you pick up a Balfagor, is for the push power, unless I'm missing something very obvious. Now, I will say, Silence is a strong tool against a Doctor, and he does provide that at least. So that maybe has a little bit to do with it. But.
I mean, yeah, Balfagor does push, but this Reason lineup does not scream push to me. Like, the only person that really
then why pick up Balfagor? That's what I don't get.
I think it's gonna be because of the silence though. Like, obviously there was a lot of heroes that were banned out, like that are good counters against the Doctor Repulsor. Obviously Moro was still on the board, but that was after Monarch was already picked up, and I don't know, it looks like they wanted some kind of tanky frontliner as well that could deal with a lot of the burst potential, a lot of the higher damage output coming out from Sync.
Yeah.
But I think the silence is a big issue with it though. Like, if you look at it, the silence is actually a decent spell. Like 3.5 seconds of silence is very, very good. It's going to force obviously Flensmeister eventually to go for a stronger head. And normally for Doctor Repulsor, you want to get maybe 2 mana-intensive items, like maybe the Icon and into a Hellflower, before you pick up Strong Head, because otherwise you do have a lot of mana issues. But with this, you might have to go for a second pickup of a Strong Head after maybe the Icon, for example.
Balfagor is even more of a curious pickup to me, too, on top of the fact that they're going up against Electrician, and I say that because the Electrician's pretty good against minion heroes in general. With the energy absorption, actually a pretty powerful tool to use against them, and technically could have used the Purge to do the instant kill on them. So they need to pause the game here every freaking time. It seems like Sync's the only team that can't coordinate their pauses. That's the one thing they need practice with.
Yeah, man.
As far as who's going to actually pause the game. But
yeah, I mean, Balfagor is a very, very strong laner as well, which could have been the reason why they decided to pick him up here as well. It looks like it's going to be maybe a Doctor Repulsor Glacius mid with solos from Drunken and Electrician, with obviously Warbeast in the jungle. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, Breaky, I couldn't give you a definitive reason of why Balfagor's picked up. To be honest, like, if I'm only speculating, obviously normally the other pickups makes a lot more sense, but for this game, honestly, I'm a little bit befuddled as well.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be interesting. Now, Reason Gaming did also make the point there. Like I said, I didn't know if they were kind of almost like just having fun joking with it, but Nier kind of backed it up that they really hope to get Hellborn, and they think that it's a strong advantage, and hey, they got Hellborn. That's just the luck of the draw, and that's how it works. So they did get Hellborn, especially when they're down 1-0. So it sets themselves up to at least, in a sense, kind of cancel out that first victory for Sync and make it a even best of.
Yeah, I mean, The only problem, though, is that, like, if you pick up Hellborn, you really want to take the advantage of taking Conga after Conga. But in this case, the only, like, good Conga killer is really Dampier because of the lifesteal. Like, Balfagor doesn't scream Conga killer for me. But it looks like they're going to run a Monarch Balfagor mid lane. And, I mean, both of these heroes we barely ever see. So we'll have to see how it's going to work in general.
This electrician skin, man. Holy crap. I think this is one of the new ones here from the Ultimate Flint Beastwood series, so badass. Anyways, I get caught up in that sometimes. But, ooh, classic 2 versus 2 lane middle. It's been a long time since we've seen this, too. But it's Glacius Dr. Repulsor versus a Balfagor Monarch. Now, not your usual lane setup, with that said, but this is interesting. I mean, looking off the bat here, again, not your typical setup, but you got an advantage for either side. I think the double range versus melee range is in itself an advantage, of course, but...
Definitely. I think normally when we used to see a lot of dual mids, it kind of went in terms of a trio of sort of who beats who, like, kind of like rock, paper, scissors. Like, so you had the dual range lanes, like this lane would normally be sort of bursters, kind of like Pebbles, who have kind of a weak laning stage, and then the hookers would beat the dual range lanes, and then the bursters would normally beat the hookers, because obviously the hookers would hook into the bursters would just sort of burst them down before they could do anything. In this lane, though, really, like, Balfagor doesn't have a hook, doesn't have range, and it doesn't really have the greatest burst. They do have decent sustain and decent slow, though, so if they are going to find a timing, it's going to be example right now.
Oh, there's the Regurgitate throwing up all over the place, but Glacius is going to be able to back away in time. You look at Doctor, too, taking some great damage right there. So, yeah, Monarch, again, we're getting an idea. Oh, that's going to be a kill! Bloodlust kill comes out! Chioli right there, crippling Poland doing the work. Oh, man, again, I'm still kind of getting caught up on how this hero works now, ultimately, but, yeah, the crippling Poland's still a strong ability, as we saw right there.
Yeah, and that is completely because of the buff to the crippling Polion, and actually got increased range to the spell, and because of that, was able to get the kill. Flensmeister just really didn't really realise the kind of range that crippling Polion has, and top lane as well. Katie goes down as well.
He was interacting with Nymphoria in the jungle, and then just some back and forth was kind of innocent love right there, but in the end, he tried to then fall back, and all of a sudden Monarch comes in and cuts him off with a double damage, and there's a Ward of Sight that he's going to place. Again, that's his Nightcrawler right there, so very good placement of that, because that's one of those cases, too. It's hard to be able to go there and destroy it, so...
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Whenever you play Monarch, like, it's really important to make sure that you get wards off that are not easily popped. For example, you want to put them on hills, you want to put it on areas hard to get to, and in this case, this is exactly what TPS Prices has done. Clearly has a lot of experience in how...
Yeah. You see the community interacting right there, giving their opinion as far as how they think this is going to play out, and the most predictable one is a 3-1 for Sync, so giving a little bit of love to Reason Gaming there, but... understandably, Sync being the favorite. We'll see how it plays out, though. Again, this is just getting started here in the very first game. And right now, a 2-0 start for Reason Gaming, with that said. Obviously, some encouragement for them, if anything. But yeah, the Crippling Paw, I kind of looked over that, but that in itself is a silence, too, of course. So that's another tool to use against the Dr. Repulsor and have that to work with. But I like how he's also using that Noxious Nightcrawler, offensively, as we saw for the Bloodlust earlier before... they eventually finished him off with the Crippling Paw, and using it with the Balfagor Regurgitate, doing some good, just slow damage there at the beginning. Oh, jeez. And then Quincy's like, by the way, don't get too excited. Balfagor's 0-2, or 0-5 in Hunter Season 3. Yeah.
But it's fun, though. Sync have Drunken Master, it balances it out. So
that's true. He's not too successful either.
But yeah, so in the case of this Monarch, though, I'm assuming he's going to max out the Q and the E, which is kind of the one issue with the hero of Monarch. She's incredibly level dependent because there's no 1-point wonder on this here. Actually, bottom lane, Rayleigh might be in a little bit of trouble.
He is in trouble. Lunge, no, does not go off right there. Nice compel away, and he does survive. So no harm, no foul. Top lane, Strider's Monarch. Almost thought he had haste for a second. He's just striding in. Electrician pushing up a little bit too far now. There is a TP coming in. There's a crippling Paul in. The Noxious Crowd. Dampier very low going with the Blood Chalice. He is going to fall. Gets healed up as a result of that. That was a very risky play. And but it does pay off in the end by Imba Boy right there. God, he was living life on the edge.
Yeah, TPS Price as well, man. 3-0-0. Really kind of actually dominating just this early game. But yeah, just going back to Monarch, though, the hero is incredibly level dependent. You kind of want to have your Q, W, and E all maxed out, but of course you don't have the ability to do that. No real skill points are 1 point. 1.1, this kind of things. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sometimes, you know, you get those heroes where you only need to get at least 1 point in it, whereas in this hero, you kind of have to have all of them maxed out. Because a level 1 W is terrible. The only one you could maybe leave at just level 1 is Noxious Nightcrawler, but then actually your aggressive kill potential in lane is very, very poor because you don't have the damage. So it's awkward with this hero kind of thing. But I guess he's just going to sort of just leave Chrysalis till the later stages of the game.
I think I do agree with you for the most part, but I honestly think that 1 point of Chrysalis, because of the change that happened with the instant 75 health.
Yeah, but it does more harm than good though, because you're immobilized there for 3 seconds and then they follow up and end up killing you because it's 20% reduced damage.
Isn't the most,
and only he was. It's just trust me.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, you see right here.
Like obviously, if you could move, then yeah, it'd be good. But obviously, you're immobilized, and it only ends up backfiring. Actually, Monarch.
He is in trouble right here. He's going to be chased down. There's a lunge. Hellhound's assisting. He does have support coming over with Balfgor, but they couldn't get there in time. That's a level 7 Drunken Master already, so Mickey doing some pretty good work right here. And is also going to bottle up an Invis in the process. So that's finally some good signs of life for Sync Esports right there. Well played by Mickey once again. 362 gold per minute now. Able to take out the roaming Monarch right there. Dampier, though, doing his thing. He's level 6 as well. And farming about 360 gold per minute on top of that as well. So he's got the Blood Chalice, going to get the Steam Boots, I'm sure. And then eventually transition into the Grimoire of Power. Not an item we see too much now in the competitive scene. You know, with heroes like Wretched Hag especially, not really being seen more. But it's going to be interesting to see how the stacks work. But top lane, he's in trouble. There goes the Electric Gift. Nim4 was just out of range. She was just not in the best position. And she's now in dead trouble right here. She puts the heal on, but it doesn't matter. And a double tap for Mickey. Well, what do we constantly say about Sync Esports? As actually Insanity does get picked off, but it's the Mickey factor. You stop Mickey, you give yourself a pretty good chance. You don't, it's usually a loss, and arguably, 100% a loss, I'm pretty sure. We saw the stats yesterday. It's like if he's 400 plus GPM or something, they're undefeated, so.
Yeah, exactly. He's actually sitting behind mid as well, actually. I don't know, try and set up something. Doc's just level 6 as well, but Balfgor just hit level 6 as well, so this could backfire if Sync are not careful.
Yeah. You see he's setting up, and they're going to go in. Balfgor, he's going to take some damage. He uses his Hell on New Earth, but that was a very early use of it, so minimal damage coming out. Not nearly enough. Beautiful Zealstone with that set. Hits all 3 heroes. Is this going to be able to set anything up, though, is a question. And 4 eventually going to get killed off as well. Rally is here. He has a compel. No mana for it. That is so unfortunate. And now he's being collapsed on. Down goes Monarch. What is going on here for Reason? Sync Esports just rolling them over. Let me correct myself. Mickey just rolling over Reason Gaming. Another double tap. He is 4-0-2 and 450 gold per minute just about. Oh boy, this is now looking pretty ugly for Reason Gaming all of a sudden.
Yeah, definitely. And the problem there as well is, like, we talk about how Drunken Master actually has very, very poor winning stats, but that's only if he plays Suicide. And the reason being is because when you're playing Suicide, he doesn't get a lot of farm, but you put Drunken Master on a kind of good farming role, and he can do a lot of work. Top lane, though, Dampier going at it with Electrician, but actually Slaps goes down. Yeah,
Slap does go down, but Keizu actually might be going down as well. Keizu got a little too tunnel vision right there, I think. Figuring he had the free kill. You see Dampier trying to keep him nearby, but actually here comes Drunken Master again! Mickey just seems to be everywhere at freaking once. Nim4 is also going to fall right here. That's his 3rd double tap, and we're only 8.5 minutes into this game. Don't tell me he's going to get Dampier as well. Oh no, Dampier, he went into the woods. Okay, it's going to be fine. Jeez, though, Mickey is literally everywhere, it feels like. Whenever there's any bit of action, he's like, don't worry, I'm here. 460 gold per minute now.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, getting ugly.
And the battle cry is just helping him so much more as well. So the lunge doing a lot more because his attack damage is doing a lot more. Actually, talking of Warbeast, bottom lane.
What is going on the bottom lane? They're diving on a Rally down here. You see a lot of TPs coming in that will save the day in the end. Does Rally have... He had a compel. I'm very intrigued why he didn't actually go for an offensive compel right there to set up a counterplay. I mean, I guess Warbeast still had his ulti for him, but if they got Doctor, that could have definitely been a counter kill. But too risky, I guess. He was also low in life and did not want to go for that. So the TPs, in a sense, sure they may save him, but that did cause a lot of downtime for a hero like Balfgor, who now has to go back to the middle lane. So, I mean, look at Balfgor, though. 170 gold per minute.
Yeah, and this is why I was a little bit kind of speculating the pick edge top lane Drunken Master.
Is he in trouble? Yes, he is. Bailed from Rowley. Can he get a range for the compel on Dampier? Perhaps. Yes, he can. And Drunken Master, he actually is going to fall. Now, that's a pretty big deal, because look at that bonus skull that Imbo Boy just got as well for that streak stop. That's That's good news for a reason.
Yeah, definitely. Singh was actually taking up triple stack Ancients. Might be in trouble though. Although
Minions coming in, maybe not. Chrysalis on himself. Okay, so he has a point on that now. The minions going to get in front is the question. They're putting this on beautiful. Zeal set lines up perfectly. The Volatile Pod Electrician is going to fall. This is an action-packed game, man. 8-7 hero kills, 15 in total, only 10.5 minutes. I know you're trying to talk, Quincy, but not Quincy. Never talks. What am I saying, Mini? But
it is, man. It's tough. It is tough to talk. Keep on getting action back and forth, back and forth. But yeah, just going back to the Battlefield goal, though, like he's not doing too well, and this is why I was sort of speculating that. Like, I really don't see any synergy or why they've picked it outside just the silence to drop down the Doctor Repulsor, and with it not really making a lot of sense. I guess it's coming to fruition here as well. It's not doing very well because I guess it didn't make a lot of sense at the drafting stage.
Yeah.
Below 200 GPM, and this was who was dual mid against as well, and he just hasn't been able to find his form. Hasn't been able to really do anything really. Obviously, tides do change, but for the most part, it's just hasn't really been able to do too much so far.
Oh, okay. I thought Chuck might have been going in right there, but no, he's not. You see another ward placed by Monarch, and we'll just keep an eye out on that, see how much vision this Hellborn team does have, especially with the Monarch. You think it's safe to say they should have a good amount of vision throughout the map here. And so far, they got some decent of that. Hellhound is going to scout things out. It's going to be seen by the Rev Ward, though. And we'll just get some information for Warbeast. How's Slapped been doing, by the way? He's 2-1-2, nearly 300 gold per minute. I think it's safe to say he's doing pretty damn well. Has the Abyssal Skull and his red boots on top of that.
Yep. He actually has... he has actually maxed, or no, hasn't maxed, but he's actually started specking the Battle Cry again instead of the Primal Rage, which we saw in actually mid lane by Drunken Master.
They jump on a Drunken Master. This is a big chance for a Krill. Chrysalis comes out, and they do get the kill. On top of everything else, of course. So hold your horses, says Racing Gaming. There was a lot of momentum being built up from Sync Esports, especially Mickey, but now they've killed him twice since then. And now they're going to push the middle tower as a team. And again, Balfagor, this is definitely one of his shining moments here. Now, he doesn't have minions out, actually. He's getting some more corpses here. He needs one more. Yeah, there we go. Now he's going to spawn the 4 minions. And this tower is going to start dropping pretty quickly, but don't overstay your welcome if you're Reason Gaming. Sync Esports coming in. Here comes Warbeast. Has an ulti form. Not going to use it just yet. Everybody's here for Racing, though. Mid-wars action coming at you right here. He wants to dive. Dampier goes in. Doctor going to be fine, though. No compel used just yet. Here's a counterplay on Dampier now. The Purge from Monarch. They pulled in Balfagor, though. There's the hell on Newer Tower. Big seismic slam. A double tap for Zane, but still alive is Drunken Master. Can he do enough with Electrician right here? He's going to chase down. Gets the catch on the Dampier. Dampier dropping. Dampier will fall. Electrician wants more. He's going to end up taking out Balfagor, it looks like. He will. A compel right there. Electrician does get counter-killed, though. So they do get a couple of pickoffs to Sync, but beautiful AoE synergy from Recent Gaming to start that all off.
Man, that Balfagor and Compel Seismic Land did a lot of work there, and I thought it was going to be turned in favour of Sync when Drunken Master turned in, but they did clump quite a lot though, and the Balfagor Hell of Nuva and the Seismic Land did a lot of damage, and I think Sync was quite surprised himself.
Yeah, that definitely threw it off guard a little bit, and again, Balfagor, I still feel a little... Feels a little quirky with this lineup, but hey, it worked out right there as far as AoE synergy once again goes. And we saw it earlier too. Hell on Earth is an interesting ability because it has those 3 stages. I don't know if that was honestly 80+ charges. I think that might have only been the 40+. So no minions were actually spawned, but I might be wrong. But anyways, the point being, you want to get the 80+ charges with some cast going around you because then that's when it's maximum damage. Not only does it do the damage, but of course again the minions spawn that will explode and do even more damage. So. We see here, again, Drunken Master back to the middle lane. Yeah, just a lot of mid-wars action here. Both teams pretty content, especially Sync now, on possibly getting the tower kill themselves. But no, they're not going to commit any further, and safe to say for good reason there. Rally almost has a portal key too, by the way, which is big news. And Lightbrand is on Dampier now. I've been looking occasionally at some stacks. It seems like they are doing a pretty good job of that. Dampier having some room to work with here. Only 370 gold per minute. Usually at 14.5 minutes, that might not be too bad, but again, on the Dampier, you probably want to be at least 400+ at this point. Now, he is getting there. Oh, Nim4 actually takes some of those. That was kind of a bad.
I mean, we have seen Dampier have a bad start. I think it was actually a game where Reason played it again. I think it might have even been the Sync game where the game they won against Sync. Dampier wasn't doing too good. He only had about 290 GPM, but then he just skyrocketed, like as Dampiers do. Honestly, it looks like he's going to go for the Grimoire power, as you stated before, and expect the GPM to go up. I mean, I have seen Reason to have a very, very efficient use of keep on triple stacking the Ancients, which is very, very good, to continue their farm from there.
I think that was against Willowkeeper the previous week, and I remember that because they were running the jungle, and that's what I was so kind of against.
Are you sure?
He had a slow start. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna
look.
It definitely wasn't yesterday. I know that for a fact. It was either against Willowkeeper or maybe somebody else, but I'm sure Quincy's even on top of it.
Probably.
But bottom lane here actually gets a kill down here. Ports in with Dampier, and that's why that was successful. Flensmeister, he is not having his typical Doctor game. 0-3 and 5, only 313 gold per minute actually, not too bad, but there's a lot of gold in this game in general as we see. Speaking of that, there's going to be more for Sync Esports. They get the middle tower kill right there, and going to keep things going at least a little bit here. Good push.
You're right, Breaky. Unfortunately, I have to
admit. Yeah, I'm right. There we go. Look at that. Yeah, again, that was a game, like I said, they had the jungler, and it was kind of interesting, but it did work out even after a slow start. So that's definitely what they're going to be banking on here, no doubt. Once again. He's had a better start than that game, I think it's safe to say, though. So.
Yeah. But he can still sort of blow up in terms of farm as well very, very quickly. And, I mean, Reason have been doing a good job in just terms of stacking, and they've got the dual supports as well, so it's not like a jungler is going to soak up that farm. So they should be fine in that respect.
Yeah. Imboboy's damp game was in Psycho 3. Oh, wow.
What? No, that's not right. I was looking on stats. Imboboy played against Tree like last week.
No, he was saying he mentioned that, but he's saying the one before that. The only time he said
right. Sorry.
Psycho 3, so.
I just stopped trying to prove people wrong because every single time I do it, it backfires on me. So I'm just agree to everything everyone says now.
Well, tower goes down right there. Invis on rally with the Veiled Rod. He also has that portal, you remember, so. He's looking, Zane is looking for an opportunity here. He's level 11 too, so that seismic slam that much stronger. They're going bottom lane. Warbeast could be in some trouble as well as Doctor. Now they have an idea that something's up because there is a ward of sight here that's spot that. However, Drunken Master. He's going to look for something. This Balfgor possibly.
I think he wants to find the Monarch. Monarch's the easier kill. I don't think he can kill Monarch. I don't think he can kill Rally or Balfgor. They're both too tanky.
The jump if you can't really get the kill in the end. Denying the bottom tower. That's a little surprising because he also had teammates nearby though. I'm a little surprised that Drunken Master chose not to jump. But again, maybe he did figure that more were there.
Yeah. You have to think about that Nymphora and Dampier can be into the team for the next 1.5 seconds because Nymphora is just sitting next to Dampier. So whenever you have to take the jump, it has to be perfect because although there's 3 down bottom, it can be turned into 5 very, very quickly.
Yeah. There's a Blessed Orb on Dampier, and again, very, very close now to that Grimoire. The Grimoire and a Portal Key, or perhaps a Shrunken Head. I mean, the Grimoire's the start. That's what matters, and then it really starts to snowball off of that. So let's keep an eye on Imboboy and how that was working out. Mickey does continue to be the top farmer, though, but again, that has it's sure up there quite a bit, but it has scaled off a little bit. He started 6-0-2, I think it was.
Oh, Glacius, you are so dead.
2 deaths since then, as Glacius is like, here, free kill for Dampier.
Stun?
Maybe? Or not. Why didn't... his Silson was on
cooldown,
and now he's in trouble! Dr. Repulsor's going to fall. They still got the kill, at least, but... yeah.
Wow.
That was a weird...
yeah, Nymphora, I think Nymphora stunned the creeps to help the Dampier farm and didn't have it. I was like, oh yeah, Nymphora, Glacius is going to instantly die, and then... Nope.
Yeah.
And Dampier, he was on cooldown as well, because he did the exact same thing, just used it for farm. Yeah, Glacius just tried to go up there to try and... to ward, but obviously the ward here from near saw it. But
Monarch, he's a main support Monarch really, and he actually manages to get his Striders into an Astrolabe. Jeez,
he's farmed really, really well actually. Like he got the 3-0 at the start of the game, so decent farm, and it synergizes quite nicely with the Chrysalis as well.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, again, look at his build. He actually ended up maxing out or level 3 at least in Chrysalis here.
I really don't like it, to be fair, but The reason being is because not only did I say that if you're going to pick up one of these skills, you kind of have to max it, because if you go a little bit of everything, I think it's kind of a weak build. But particularly so in this game as well. Like Crippling Pollen is kind of like the only CC that Monarch has, and in this game it's even more important than others. The reason being is because it's the silence. Although it's only 0.5 seconds more each time he scales it, against Dr. Repulsor, that 0.5 seconds can be the difference between killing him and not killing him. So him not maxing Crippling Pollen, I'm not a big fan of it, honestly.
Yeah, I'm trying to make logic though of the maxing out the Chrysalis though, and honestly, the way I see it is that you got heroes like Warbeast, and especially a Drunken Master who's going to jump on somebody. If you pop the Chrysalis on, that's a fake, by the way, and they realize that right off the bat. However, Dampier and Amphora, they're in a horrible spot here. Freeze on a Dampier. Can the support get their time? Hasten. Rally coming in. He's going to line this up. Seismic Slam. He does some damage to Glacius, but that was it. Dampier goes down. Did Zane even stun right there? I don't think he did. However, he is going to get caught in that Chrysalis now, so mitigating some damage. There's the Compel, but he's not going to get away. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he had the Compel up. Maybe it was on cooldown, but he didn't use it for whatever reason initially.
I think it was on cooldown.
Maybe it was, yeah. That would make sense then. So, but Sink definitely wins that fight there.
Yeah, and going back to Monarch though, like if there is one point that you have to max out if you are going to spec into it, is the Chrysalis though. Leaving it level 1 or level 2 or even level 3 can backfire, because obviously it's 3 seconds while your own person can't do anything. So it's really important that if you are going to pick it up, you have to max it, otherwise it's more of a backfire than it is more of a benefit. But yeah, I mean, whether he should have gone Chrysalis instead of maybe maxing out the Q or the E is another question. But he should definitely have maxed it if he does decide to go into it. But just going back to the Crippling Pollen though, I don't know, I really think if it's the only CC ability that you have, you kind of have to max out the Crippling Pollen, because otherwise it just seems a little bit weak in that respect. But
yeah.
Alas though, I mean, it still does its job obviously. Just can be the difference between obviously Dampier.
Well, you made the point earlier, too, that was the great news for him, especially that overall, again, this is just an action-packed game. We have 28 hero kills in 21.5 minutes. It's just been constantly having kills left and right here. So, in games like this, especially when they're back and forth with kills, you're going to get a lot of experience in farm in general. So,
that is true.
He is level 9, which is good.
If you think about it as well, really, he only needs to get level 11, and then he have his Q and his E maxed out, because Cleansing Wind will not be specs at level 11, I can assure you that. Otherwise, I'm going to call TPS a noob, because if you look at the scaling of Cleansing Wind, it is very, very bad. Like, it reduces the cooldown by 20 seconds and then an extra 50 movement speed, which is, to me, not very important. Yeah, getting at a level, like, it's quite funny, the 1.1 of Monarch is his ultimate, which is quite strange to say, but it is, really. Because the scaling is very, very bad. 20-second cooldown decrease and only 50 increase of movement speed is just really not that impactful.
I can see that, yeah, and I can see the logic there. So we will see what he does go for at that level 11 mark. But Rally, Invis, looks like he's had quite a bit of these. He has an opportunity here. Amphora, is she going to be TPing in somewhere? I'm waiting for the sound to even happen, but Rally's going to sit on top of Warbeast for now, keep on scouting it out. Just like there we go. There's an F14B. However, now he's kind of away. He has no clue. I think he's microing the wolves. He's microing. That's why. Yeah.
No.
He just sent out the wolves, so 100%. He was looking at them for a split second, and sure enough, that would be just perfect timing. So.
That or his screen went black. Kappa.
That or the DC, the lag that happens. No, but obviously just a good pick up nonetheless from Reason. Good patience with the Invis and setting up with the Nymph4 ultimate port in. And now they're going to group up and push bottom here. Yeah,
and Dampier has the Grim of Power and the Portal Key as well. I think they do want to start pushing this though, because at this time they have ways to deal with the Dr. Repulsor. They've got obviously the Silence from the Crippling Pollen and the Demonic Pathogen from Balfagor as well. But once Dr. Repulsor picks up the Shrunken Head, they have no way of really dealing with him, and he's going to go absolutely ham in these team fights. But now they can at least push their advantage.
They're going in. There's the Monarch Purge right there. Electrician jumps in the background with his own Portal Key. Balfagor locking out Dr. Repulsor though. The hell on Newerth will finish him off actually. Static Grip on a Dampier. Dampier, the Chrysalis comes out, however. That's going to save the day initially. Turning things around with the auto attacks. Will he survive in the end? Maybe an ultimate. No, he flies through. No, it's not enough lifesteal though. He does go down when it's all said and done. Balfagor now, he's also in a little bit of trouble in the front lines. He will eventually get killed. A couple of buybacks definitely used. Electrician and Doctor both buyback. But it's safe to say, very worth it right here for Sync Esports, as they are going to clean up, really. Reason Gaming, and they're going to right to Kongor, yep.
Yeah. And I wonder if Freeze, they don't have a buyback from Dampier, so they won't be able to defend. They're actually going to lose Congo for this. And again, though, this is what I was talking about. Sync, recently they easily shut down the Dr. Repulsor because he didn't have a shrunken head. They have way still with him, but unfortunately that buyback from both Keisu and Flensmeister is now going to secure him a Congo, although Reason looks like they're going to try and defend this, although Congo is dropping very, very well. This could be bad.
I mean, they just bought back. Yeah, there goes the ward in. They're going to scout it out. Chrysalis applied to Dr. Repulsor. He goes down.
He got it!
Rally steals it. The Sonic Slam. No, Chrysalis comes out. He has the Sonic Slam. He's going to use that throw. A Doctor or Drunken Master nearly dead. It will survive. Nymphora's porting in with Dampier, I believe. No, that is not Dampier. Anyways, they get the 1 kill. Rally is going to come back up, though. Balfcore hell on new with Dr. Repulsor trying to get away. Monarch will get killed. Balfcore, Rally actually goes in to finish off Glacius, but Balfcore is going to end up falling. And Rally's going to try to get away. So at least Zane makes a pretty big play right there to steal the token. But again, you do look at what was the ultimate use. And again, they had a couple more people die. They used buyback on both Balfcore and Monarch. So really not the most costly buybacks either.
Yeah. But at least they did make sure that the token was not picked up from Dr. Repulsor. Like, that would have been really, really important. Because if they had picked up Aegis or token on Dr. Repulsor, they could have took almost likely all of the outer towers, obviously with a push from Warbeast. So, yeah, really, really clutch token still there. So, really well played.
What a game we have to kick it off here in the grand finals. Again, 39 hero kills combined. It just doesn't stop. Dampier, he's getting closer to Shrunken Head. You pointed out, though, I mean, the Shrunken Heads are popping up here on the Legion side. Obviously, Drunken's had it for a while. You got Warbeast. Dr. Repulsor could be a big one if that's what he chooses to go for next. I mean, he's at that point of could be a Hellflower, could be a Shrunken. But when you're going up against a Dampier, and overall just a very magic-heavy team.
Oh, it is magic.
Yeah. Other than Rally, to be fair.
Rally, yeah. But it's hard for him to really line up the Seismic Slam until he has Staff of the Master, really. Because obviously the Compel is magic stun, so they're going to have difficulties even for Rally to try and do stuff with the Shrunken Heads now on sync. Because, I mean, look, there's no damage, really, until Dampier goes, like Wingbow and sort of even Geos. Like, he's really far away from that, so he's really not going to dish out a lot of physical damage. And Rally, outside of his Seismic Slam, is really all the physical damage they have, so they're going to probably pick up Shrunken Heads on everyone here on the side of sync. It looks like even Electrician's building one as well, which I think is actually quite important as well, because that static grip is very, very good. Obviously, it's channeled as well, so it's important that he has magic in immunity. Because 4.75 seconds of lockdown is actually a lot, if you can keep it channeled. So.
Now, what do you think of this? Now, first off, he was building an Astrolabe, and I don't know if he kind of stopped that because Monarch ended up getting it. That was just miscommunication. Everybody still plans to get it, but more so the Portal Key, though, on Nymphora. That is not an item we really ever see. Is that worth the investment? I mean,
I understand it, though, because that Zeal stun can be very, very important, and as long as you have a stun, I mean, Portal Key is always good. Something that sometimes, whenever I played Nymphora, like, you obviously want to utilize the ganks quite effectively, and you pick up, what's it called? The item that Deadwood got last game. Crap, Lex Talionis, because it really helps in terms of the ganks. But Portal Key is still good, to be fair, because of the Zeal stun. Like, whenever you have a stun, Portal Key is never bad. I think Lex maybe should have been the first pickup, perhaps, but that one big Zeal stun can be the difference between winning and losing a team fight, and the positioning from Portal Key is always good. So, I mean, Portal Keys are never bad item, to be fair. I just think maybe Lex could have been a little bit better in terms of the first pickup.
Alpha Gore gets caught out here. He has support somewhat nearby, but they just cannot get there in time. Good job by Sync Esports being there. In fact, they want more. Dr. Pulsar flies in, and Nymphora Chrysalis comes out, though. Not the best placement, though. In trouble. There's the Purge. Can she get away? No, she cannot. And now Monarch's also in trouble. The train is real here from Sync. They go one after the other, and ultimately 3 heroes die. They're going to get the top tower kill. And now Recent Gaming going to be on their back foot right here. Do they have buybacks? They do not. This is going to be a big push from Sync Esports. Look at it. He drops the icon even to reach in, and then going to pick it right back up. And I noticed Flensmeister especially does quite a bit of that. So.
Hashtag efficiency, man.
Exactly. Hey, any bit helps, especially in the grand final match here. This tower is in trouble.
I think these racks might be dropping, actually. 20 seconds till everyone's up here on the side of Reason, and I think they push too far down quickly. Like with Warbeast, like with the Battlecry, yeah, these racks are going to fall, and there's nothing that Reason can do about it, unfortunately.
It's not worth the risk. Yeah, Raleigh has a chance to jump in. Resurrections are happening right here, but it's just too late in the end. Well played by Sync once again to get those picks and eventually transition into ultimately pushing the base and getting the racks right there. So big gap all of a sudden in favor of Sync Esports now. 11,000 gold lead, 13,000 experience just about. But perhaps most importantly, again, getting the top set of racks. Now Raleigh, he's using the Invis right here. They're going to try to set something up. No, Sync, if they kept pushing, that is. But Sync does fall back. They play it smart. Not going to force any issues. They know they have a comfortable lead here. However, Mickey's off by himself. Never mind. Maybe something there, but no, he is going to be good too. Dampier does finish his Shrunken Head now. Again, that is unlike the Legion team where it makes a lot of sense. The Hellborn team, it's still good to have, but you do have your case though. You got a Drunken, you got a War Beast that's going to just attack right through it, of course. And Drunken Master, most importantly, he can still lock you down being physical with that lunge. So it's not going to be game-changing, I don't think, by any means, but it is still necessary, I think you can argue, definitely. You mentioned something like the static grip, of course, too.
Pretty good. And that's why he's picked up the portal key as well. Like, it just gives him so much catch potential. Like, I mean, I talk about like the ability to sort of catch people, and Dr. Pulse is the first one to come into mind. But whenever you pick up portal key as well, like, you always can secure 1 or 2 extra kills. And like every single team fight is normally team fights. I mean, team wipes rarely happen in terms of everyone sort of sits there and fights to the death, obviously. So having that catch potential is just really good to get a couple of the stragglers, which can be the difference between like getting a 3,000 or 4,000 gold leads. So yeah. It's just that it's a nice initiation tool now as well, because he can portal key in Shrunken Head and static grip someone. For example, if they can get it off on Dampier before he pops Shrunken Head, I mean that enemy's going to die. So, yeah. And if Dampier dies in the team fight, that's a one team fight from Sync. So.
Look at Sync, by the way. I think they took your advice. Look at what they're doing at the top and the bottom lane.
Oh, the couriers.
They're patrolling the couriers.
It's Air Force control, man. Like. Yeah. And it's so good against Nymphora as well. Like, and there's no counterplay to it either.
Big jump in the middle lane on a Drunken Master. Side by side, down he goes right off the bat. Dr. Pulsar did pop the Shrunken Head, but he is by himself currently. Here comes that supporting cast. They get here pretty late though with Drunken Master dead. I don't know if Sync wants to be fighting. He doesn't have a buyback. He actually just bought the Soul's Bulwark, I believe. So that's this is a chance for Reason Gaming now to make a play right here and get something out of this. There's a double damage run on Dampier. They're at least going to get this middle tower. I think they might actually try to go uphill. In fact, Rally catches War Beast, but no, they can't follow. They do pop a Shrunken, though. That's the good news. What will they do from here is now the question. They kind of have to fall back, I guess. Yeah, you see bottom lane, the Electrician was pushing it in, forcing them to react, and their top lane is naturally being pushed in, of course. So really not much more Reason could have done, I guess.
I actually love these couriers, though. They're actually on patrol. Like, yeah. They're actually like, the patrol command. It's like really rare to see. And he's got one actually.
No one ever uses, yeah.
Yeah, like no one ever uses the ability though, like or the command. But he's got one actually here on the Aegis as well. And like I mean, there is no counterplay to it. Like, and that's what makes it so strong. But no one ever does it. And it's actually really cool to see that Sync has started doing it though. It's really cool to see.
Yeah.
Because like, the only way you can really deal with it is if like you get a courier of your own, and it's like courier wars, but then it gets a little bit silly. But it's really important though. Like I say it like almost sort of jokingly, but it does have a really big impact though. Because if you think about it, Nymphora ganks, they always are used obviously on this side of the map or inside of the tree line, because no one wards on that side of the map. Or on the side of this sort of on the edge of the map kind of thing, and that's where Nymphora ganks are most likely to happen. But with these couriers, you can spot them out. So a really nice little play, and it's a small thing, but it has a big difference. And then he's got a ground crew over here on this other side as well.
Well, I know you've been mentioning it before, but now that we're actually seeing it in a game here, a tournament environment, especially the grand finals by Sync Esports, I wouldn't be surprised if it starts to become more and more of a trend.
It does, yeah.
Popping up here and there, but.
Mini maggot trendsetter.
You can take all the credit for it.
No, I'm joking.
Shrunken Heads across the border on the Legion side, and this is obviously the worrisome thing for Dampier now, especially, not let alone the Reason Gaming team, is his damage is going to be mitigated plentiful. Now, we see this with heroes like Oogie as well, yet Oogie somehow just dominates in the late game.
One died.
Oh no, one of the 5 couriers that are flying around. Not the end of the world right there for Sync. Is that? Oh my god, what a catch right there, right off the bat. Electricity goes down. Dr. Pulsar now in trouble as well. Hell on Earth. It already was. No, it actually hasn't been used just yet, and actually he's going to lock down Rally in trouble too. There's the Hell on Earth, but Shrunken Heads are up, and exactly as expected. Mitigating so much damage. Dampier, he's still alive, but not for much longer. He ends up going down. Zeal Stun hits, but now near perhaps staying over his welcome. They're going to catch him right here. He destroys the Pound Eye. So a good heads-up play from him at least, but a hat trick for Mickey. Oh, geez. Sync now is going to start rolling in here with this lead of theirs. No buyback Dampier.
And you are starting to see the effectiveness of these shrunken heads, though. Like, there's nothing that Reason can do. Yeah, they get the catch potential, and they got the sort of jump potential and the burst, obviously, onto what is it, the electrician here, because electrician actually brought back. But outside of that, when the shrunken heads are popped, Reason do very, very little in terms of the team fights because of these shrunken heads.
Well, you see they're going to fight off what they can. Demonic Pathogen constantly going out, but now Balfagor overstepping his boundaries. Sink going to take advantage of that. However, he is tanky, and Dr. Repulsor realizing that pretty quickly. He has to fall back. In the background, he got over here, Drunken Master fighting off the supporting cast, and they finally do kill Balfagor, and now they're at least going to get the tower here. Dampier's down for another 20 seconds. Well, maybe not, actually. Sink is ultimately going to fall back, so Reason Gaming actually doing a pretty damn good job of fighting them off. Zealsun hits. They want some blood right here. They may get something. Drunken Master, he is barely alive. Portal Key is going to be coming back up in 5 seconds right here. That'll be with the Zeal Stun, too. Can Nier land it is the question. It's going to be close. There's a Zeal Stun. Hits to both sides.
Oh, really?
Is it enough damage? Oh, no, it's not enough damage. And now here comes a turn as Dr. Repulsor comes in. Rowley finds his stuns in, but the Shrunken Head on Doctor. Drunken Master is still so low, but Rowley can't even finish him off. The seismic slam misses, and he goes down. What just happened?
That sidestep.
GG, well played. Sidestep indeed from Mickey.
Yeah. He like staggered onto the right side of him. It was a really nice play, but I don't know if you saw that. But like, Riley was so close to sort of catching up with his own portal key, but he actually portal keyed just before the ledge, so he had to walk all the way up the hill again, then come back in. That's why he was a little bit late. But nonetheless, though, Sink do take the game regardless of that. And yeah, I think again, I mentioned at the start of the draft break, I think if Sink are going to win it, I think it's going to be because of like maybe a draft or an out draft. And I think in this game it was as well. We mentioned a little bit of the questioning of why they picked up the Balfagor, and yeah, it did okay at the start or in the mid game, but it eventually did fall off. And the magic damage centered team of Reason Gaming was just completely countered from Shrunken Heads from Sink, and alas, they seem to take game 1 or game 2.
Whatever it's called, yeah. Here it is, the third season, Cycle 7, and we're still not even sure how to call it.
I don't know how to say it.
I refer to it as Game 1, but I can see how it's confusing when we say that. So, anyways, the point being, Sink is up 2-0 in a best out of 5. So, they need one more win. Reason will need 3 in a row to win the Grand Finals here, and that is not an easy task against any team, let alone Sink Esports. So, I do look back at the draft, though, and for me, again, it's the Balfagor, man. It just seemed out of place. I mean, the middle matchup that they had, sure, they got the Bloodlust kill with it some way, somehow, but it really seemed out of place, and I just think they could have done better there with that hero specifically. But
yep, I totally agree.
Well, in the end, Sink takes it, and deservingly so. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, we got another short break coming up, but we got what either could be possibly our final game, or will Reason Gaming fight through and take it one game at a time. They will ultimately need to win 3 in a row. But hey, it starts with this one coming up next. Ladies and gentlemen, game